Well, it's time now to take a look at one of the most iconic places, I think, in the Isle of Man. Something that is so refreshing. Every time I see it, it makes me tingle a little bit because there's not many things you can say about it in the Isle of Man that is done purely for the love of it, by dedication from people who want to get involved. I'm talking about the pier in Ramsey, of course, the Queen's Pier, and it is just the most awesome thing. And we'll get into it. Reuben's now joining us on the link because, Reuben, you have got a film coming out, which you've made, featuring your grandfather, Tom, who we originally filmed on this so long ago. And it was his inspiration that got this started. And you're about to come over to show the film. But let's talk about what this whole thing. You got involved and you can see a story here, obviously, worth documenting to say what your granddad had done.
Yeah, I mean, if you met him, you know how kind of enthusiastic kind of person he is. He's an excitable character. And when he first started talking about the pier, this was around sort of 2015, 16. Everyone in our family sort of thought, "Oh, he's really on one here. This is quite a mad idea." But actually, he inspired me to sort of follow him from that point onwards as a filmmaker. And actually, everyone in Ramsey as well started to think, "Oh, hold on a minute. Yeah, we do care about the pier. Let's go." And it snowballed and snowballed. And now we've got this, beautiful restoration project, which I think is now 7 bays out to sea. We've followed the story basically from Bay 1 to Bay 3, from 2016 to 2021. And so we've got this documentary coming out, which is going to be screening for the first time in Ramsey next week. We're inviting everyone in the town to come and support the pier again. By buying a ticket, only £5, and all proceeds are going to be going to the Pier's Trust to keep the fundraising moving forward and keep the restoration going.
So you turned up to film your granddad here in the Isle of Man on what may have been a little bit of an ambitious project to start with, should we be polite? And It's been amazing to see what's happened, hasn't it?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think as the film's developed, we've, like any good documentary, you want to kind of go with the flow, and the people of Ramsey really just inspired us to turn it into a bigger thing. I think we thought it would be quite a short film. It's actually one of the longest films we've made now, and so it ends up becoming a piece almost about time itself, because the pier's been shut for basically my entire lifetime, and it was really inspiring speaking to some locals who could tell us about what the pier was like in the 60s, maybe in its heyday, and get these wider stories that were at risk of being forgotten, really.
Now, has your work been completed? I mean, I know your granddad's really moved off to one side of this whole thing and handed over the reins. Are you going to go any further, or is that the job done and dusted as far as you're concerned?
Yeah, so we've finished our film. It's the longest film we've made, and also the longest we've worked on a project, over 5 years. So it's been a real kind of learning curve for us making a long form documentary. But our aim is to put it out there to try and help snowball this. There's 60 bays. It's over 2,000 foot long, this pier. The period we filmed just got us I think 120 foot out. So this is about keeping it going. In a way, the pier is like a giant totalizer. One of the things that my granddad sort of changed perceptions on was, people have been looking at it for a long time saying, for 30 years, actually, it's going to cost millions and millions of pounds to do this whole pier. Why should we even start? And his key idea was, well, we'll start to do a bit of it. And you just do little bits. And actually, that's been working really, really well so far. And like I say, I think they're now working on opening up bays 4 and 5 on Monday as part of kind of a coronation celebration. So I know lots of people have funded this through buying plaques. And so it's a great opportunity to get down there and see the new plaques that have just gone onto the pier. And I mean, why not dream? One day, hopefully, we'll be walking to the end and seeing all those plaques and all those contributions that have seen the pier get restored to its former glory, you know.
Well, I think you should have a part two just on when it's all finished in whatever year that'll be. But that's another story. Did he rent it or get used to the whole thing for about £1 or something? Wasn't that the whole deal initially as well? That's quite an interesting story.
Yeah. I mean, we touch on that in the film. I mean, it's one of those classic kind of like legal document paperwork things. Is you have to have an amount, and this, I think someone at the time said, "Oh, we'll sell you the pier for £1." And I think that sort of made my granddad think, well, I don't have enough money to do the pier, but I've got £1. and then that actually has led to all of these kind of micro fundraising donations. So some of it's large amounts of money, people leaving thousands of pounds as a legacy or in a will, but some of it's like bake sales, people running cake sales and selling cakes for 40p or whatever, and actually all of those donations count. And so that's a big part of our film as well, right? We try to show, it's not just about my granddad, it's about the wider community, and it's about all the different people who've come together to make this thing a reality, because it's just a mad vision in his head, but with all the help of everyone around him, they've achieved something really special.
Well, I know your granddad's done many things in his life, and he's never wanted to be told no, that's for sure, isn't he?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, how do people get tickets, and when is it on, by the way?
So next Wednesday, 10th of May, 7:30 p.m. at Ramsey Grammar School, and that's our first local screening for the community. So everyone's welcome to come down. We really want to make sure that everyone who's worked on this amazing restoration project, whether it's the volunteers, fundraisers, everyone come down, bring your friends, bring your family. There's still a few tickets left, so that's why it's really good to get the word out there now. And like I say, only £5 for a ticket, and all proceeds go to the Piers Trust. So yes, you can access the tickets at tinyurl.com/pierfilm, or just visit the Queen's Pier Restoration Trust on Facebook.